And so my presentation today is really about some work that we have done globally, looking at the aging consumer around 7 different countries around the world, some research we've done, plus some other work we have been working on with Feeding America and AARP. And just to share with you over the next few minutes some of the findings and help set the backdrop for some of the excellent presentations that are coming up in the next day and a half. Let's just make sure I can, there we go. So we're facing what is often called an age quake. And the age quake, if you look at this, in 2011, we have the countries Germany, Greece, Italy, and Japan, where people over 60 years old vastly outnumber the youth, the people under 15. And so we have a situation where the older population that are having pensions, are retiring, are slowing down their work, are much more of a demographic force than the younger population behind them that are going to be the people working and providing for the sources. Now, this is something that we all know about and what's happening in these various countries and how it's changing the nature of their demographics, their economics, their policies, their politics. But if you look at it in 2010, many more countries start to emerge as well. We're seeing a slowing birth rate in Eastern European countries and Southern European countries, slowing birth rate in many countries around the world. In fact, 2 major trends are affecting us right now. One is generally, although we're going from 7.2 billion people population to 9 billion population by 2050, our birth rate is slowing down in every country, including India and China. And as a result, we're having fewer new babies being born, fewer young people being born. And then the other side of that is that we all are living longer. And so we have an older population that are living longer and a reduced number of younger population coming on board. This is the age quake that's occurring. And if you look by 2030, there'll be 34 countries, including Japan, Germany, the US will have 20.1% of people that are over 65 that will greatly outnumber the number of young people as well. So this quake of older consumers is not just a US phenomenon. It is happening around the world. And every country is going to have to deal with it in different ways. In fact, some of the statistics that we see, the fastest growing age cohort right now in the US is people 100 years old or older. And we're seeing that by 2025, there'll be 119,000 consumers that are 100 years old and older. And think about, by the year 2050, there'll be over 1 million people 100 years old or older. And guess what? They all turn 65 this year. So they're all existing, they're all here. And how are we going to make sure that they're healthy and vibrant and living decent lives? And that's one of the challenges I think we all face with the work we're doing. We focus on millennials. All our advertising, our TV shows, our commercials are all about millennials, but if you really look at it, the real spending power is in boomers and older. $3 trillion is spent in the US alone by consumers over 60 years old, and globally it's $15 trillion. So we've got a major consumer impact here as well. But we're also facing a challenge economically where 29% of households 55 and older have no defined benefit plans or no retirement savings in the US. And so we've got this aging population going to live longer. We've got this great consumer power, but we've got this cohort of people that are facing some real challenges and trying to get through to have enough money as they live longer. So the study we did really looked at a global maturing consumer study. We did this at the Consumer Goods Forum, which is an international association of consumer goods retailers, manufacturers. And we looked at over 3,000 surveys, 3,000 in-person interviews with consumers from 7 different countries that the countries represented 60% of the world population. Basically, aging consumers 60 and older on what are their perceptions on consumer shopping, on products, etc. And we often found that they have distinct characteristics. They buy different product categories and enjoy shopping more. They shop often in smaller stores and closer to home. They are more loyal and more demanding on quality. They watch for promotions, but they do not find them adapted as much as possible. And their priorities change as they age. So a 60-year-old is different than a 70-year-old, is different than an 80-year-old, and will be different than the 1 million 100-year-olds we're going to see by 2050. So the consumers, common themes, and these are probably, very similar to the ones that you see as well. When I buy shampoo, there's a big logo on the company and not much else. So they're harder to read those packages. They aren't able to reach up to the top shelves. I'm not as tall as I used to be, and I do feel I wish I could reach a product on the shelf. And the idea of seating. And you notice now with grocery stores where they're putting restaurants inside the stores. And it's not so much that they're feeling they're going to sell restaurant meals that you're going to take out, but the fact that people can eat in and keep people in the stores, particularly in some of these larger format stores where it's very difficult to navigate. And so being able to have these types of things are becoming much more of what retailers and restaurants are trying to do to engage more with the maturing consumer. So we basically saw three main themes that came out of the research. That they're not being served well, so they're not being served either by customer service or the products. That the navigations of shops can be a real issue. So the large mega supercenters that we all have shopped in and have grown such tremendously over the last 15 years are not necessarily designed for this aging cohort, this age quake that's coming around. And packaging is a big problem of packaging, opening it, reading it, using it.